My experiences on jelly bean cruise has been quite uh, mind-opening in a way, because when I first came on felt sort of alone in the world, but since the cruise I've met quite a few good people that live the same life as me, wake up in the morning and then just deal with day by day situations that come on, the highs, the lows. Throughout high school and stuff, I had a lot of friends slowly push me away just because I'm diabetic, and they just don't want to be associated with that because of the risks of not knowing what it is, not wanting to know what it is. So over the years, I slowly started losing all my friends. I only had a handful of friends left in grade 12 before I took 3 months off school, just because I couldn't cope with the stress and the bullying of having type 1 diabetes. So I talked to Mum about it, and she said if I need to take time off school, she'll go in, she'll talk to my pastoral coordinator, and he will sort everything out for me. So we done that. Every week I would get all the homework I needed to do, all my assignments and stuff, so I done school from home just so I can cope. And after 3 months, there was about 6 weeks left of school, and I told Mum I don't want to do it anymore just because I couldn't cope. It's too stressful for me to go through it again. But Mum said it'd be better for me to push through to 6 weeks, and I'm glad that I did push through it, because I regret taking 3 months off school to try and cope better, and it didn't really help me because I knew that I'd have to go back to school. Instead of just working through, just ignoring all the bullying and stuff, which is hard when it's an everyday thing. It's hard for kids that get bullied about type 1 diabetes because they can't change it. They didn't choose it, it chose them. It's just a life that we have to go through now to be able to, in a sense, try and be normal again. We just got to do what we got to do. I've had a lot of alarms and stuff for lows while I've been driving, because I normally have my music pretty loud, so I'm pretty pumped up in a car, and then I feel the vibrate on my leg, so I pull over on the side of the road, have a look, see, oh, I'm 3.6, treated, wait a bit before I drive, do the finger prick, and then I would go back home if I'm just after a low, because I don't feel comfortable driving because of the amount of adrenaline and stuff that's running through your body. And because I've just recently turned 18, I've been drinking quite a lot. Like on this cruise, yeah, I've been to all the workshops and stuff, and then late at night I'm partying, and then I'm back up early in the morning. So there's one night where I had a sugar level of 34, I think it was, and a few of the diabetics on the cruise actually helped me bring it down, and they stayed up with me until all the insulin was out of my system before we went to bed. The next day I didn't feel too well because I was starting to go into DKA, and the next day it was a very long day for me. And then, yeah, the CGM's been really helpful, especially because once you start drinking, sometimes when you get home you just crash because you're just tired and you got so much alcohol on board, and it's just helpful to have that alarm because it'll wake you up and it'll alert the people that are with you that, hey, listen, something's not right, just check on me. And it's easier, especially when you're going clubbing, because a lot of people will jump around, bump into you, so you can keep your meter in your pocket as a backup and just have a quick look down. Say, look, I'm 14, I'm coming down, maybe swap the alcohol for maybe like a Coke or something, just so you don't drop. Because I've tried testing in a club and it's not the easiest thing. My meter got knocked out of my hand and hit the floor, so I put it back in my pocket, and I didn't pull it out again at night until I got back home, just because the floors are always wet, people will stand on it and it'll break. So the CGM is really helpful for anyone that's going out clubbing. And I know as soon as I hit 21, that's going to be the last I can get the CGM funded, and then I'll have to pay for it myself. And I know I've got a few more years of partying and stuff to go through, so having the CGM right now is really good for me, but then it's, as soon as I hit 21, if it's not subsidised, then it'll be out of pocket for me again. My life will pretty much go back to being dull because I'll be too scared to go out again, because I won't have that alarms and stuff that'll suspend me if I'm low or alert me if I'm going too high. Especially after a long night, you'd want the CGM because you'll be too tired to test, say 2, 3 in the morning, and then say you get home about 3 in the morning and you have a low at 5. You're going to be too drowsy to be able to see the screen properly, which has happened to me a few times. Like I would do a finger prick and I can't see what it reads because my mind's just shut down because of the alcohol and stuff. And just the long period of being awake. So my life will pretty much go back to being like I wasn't 18 or I wasn't 21. So it'd go back to being quiet night in, just doing like pretty much teenager stuff again. I'd really like to thank Donna and Brian for giving me the scholarship. It was a great 18th birthday present because Mum actually got the phone call the day after my 18th birthday and I was at work and Mum was in tears on the phone to me. She's like, hey listen, you just got the scholarship to go onto the cruise. And then, because it was only me and Mum that can come, so we put the money that we've been saving to send me on one of the cruises to bring Dad on the cruise with us, because Dad hasn't always been there because of work, and so I know Dad's gotten a lot out of the cruise, and so have me and Mum, because it's hard because Dad always worked away and he wasn't always at the appointments like Mum was, or Dad didn't experience all the highs and lows during the week. It was always just there for the weekend. So we're really appreciative because the scholarship, because Dad could finally learn more about it. He could see what goes on during the week. And it's even harder now considering I moved away from home to get work. So it's really helped Dad and Mum to learn more and meet new people and just expand the support group that we have. Because in Townsville we have a really good one, but now since I've moved to Brisbane, I don't really have that support group anymore, so I'm slowly building that up. Now I have at least a few people in Brisbane that I know that have type 1 diabetes that I can go, hey listen, can we just go for a coffee? I'm not feeling the greatest, and I'll always have Donna's phone number to give her a call and just say, hey listen, I'm going through a rough patch, just need someone to talk to just to let it all out. And I got really inspired by Barnaby's talk about being resilient to everything. I wish that I met him a lot earlier in my diagnosis, because I've been through some bad spots, like real bad burnouts where I didn't test, I didn't bolus for food, I was always running high, and I hated going to the appointments and stuff because the doctors would always just, they don't really know what it's like. They just know, they have the book knowledge but they don't have the life knowledge. So it's really good to meet doctors and stuff that actually have type 1 diabetes, because they know what it's like to the day-to-day life of having type 1 and what it's like to actually go through everything that we go through, like the mental stress and stuff that we're under, because not having a CGM is like driving your car blindfolded. It's not a smart idea and it's not worth the risk, because every finger prick's like just having to peek under the blindfold, but if you have your CGM, it's like removing the blindfold completely. You can go where you want, you can experience more, you don't have that stress of what's my sugar, am I low, am I high, how much insulin am I gonna have to need to actually stay stable. And it's really eye-opening meeting some of the older teenagers, so 19 and them, so the girls and stuff, and Robbie and them is really good because they've got a lot of knowledge that I don't have, and it's just good actually talking to some of them, even the little ones, like the way they are, the energy they have, it's just amazing. Really, it's just amazing to see them running around, and especially some of the ones that didn't accept that they had type 1 diabetes. They fought it until, because the cruise really gives you a chance to feel like you're normal, because you'd walk down a corridor, you jump in a lift and you see the pump line and you're like, hey, how you going, how's your day, what's your sugar levels? And it's just so much easier, because if you're walking down the street, people are always looking at you like, oh, he's got a cord hanging out of his pocket, he's weird, he's abnormal. But being on a cruise, even the non-diabetics, the people that aren't with the Danii Foundation on this cruise, they always ask you questions because they see us around. They're like, oh, what's the Danii Foundation? What's it like having type 1 diabetes in your life? Just really trying to connect with the people is just really mind-opening, and it's a great experience. Because I came on the cruise feeling alone, but now I feel like I have a whole army behind my back. So it's just so great, and I'm really appreciative. Like, there's not enough words to say thank you to Donna and everyone in the Danii Foundation, just to say thanks for everything they do for everyone, like the little ones, even trying to get the 21 and up, the CGM subsidized, and it's just really amazing how much Donna and Brian have done for everyone, and that how much they're trying to do it for everyone. And I mean, it's just, there's no words to say thank you enough.